Cool. Well, let's run through some of the main technical skills and settings that you might use on the Liberator Rugged with LAMP. First here, we're just in the library, and this is where the different vocabularies are. And you can see here there's a lock sign on these original vocabularies. That means that you can't permanently make any changes to them, so that we don't, damage any of these original vocabs and can't go back to a starting point. So if you want to add personalized pictures or have personalized settings, we've got to make a duplicate of one of these original vocabs. And so I just hold down on my vocab of choice, which will be LAMP 84 full, and then I can duplicate. Then we can give it a name. You can type the student's name in there, your name, and we'll just leave it as copy. This means that I can now make some changes to that vocabulary. I can add my own pictures. I can put in personalized settings. So let's open that up. Here's the main screen of LAMP inside the Liberator Rugged 8. Down the bottom, you can see there's a few menu buttons. So over on the right here, we've got our 3 dots. That's the main menu button. And if we hit that, it goes through to all of our settings. Next one along is the square. And this just brings up our recently used apps within the device. So if I hit that one, it will show me all of the apps that I've used recently. And you'll remember this feature from your phone. We often hit that button on our phone and then delete all the apps that are running in the background. The middle button here is a circle, and that's a button we press to get out of the LAMP vocab and get out into the main Android settings. So if I push that, I'm out in the Android device, and we have all of our main or normal Android programs in there. And then the backwards triangle here is just a back button to navigate backwards from wherever you are. Now, most of the students we work with are going to be pretty tech savvy, and they will learn how to use these menu buttons along here. So we might want to hide some of those buttons to prevent the student from making changes or navigating out of the communication program. And so we can lock each of these buttons. The 3 dots on the right is the menu, and we can put in a password that we'll have to enter to get into the settings to make any changes. So I recommend using these menu locks if your student is trying to navigate out of the program or making changes that aren't useful in the settings. So to lock our 3 dots menu down here, we want to put on the menu lock. So if I hit the menu, and then I can go into my application settings. Just on the front page here, you can see menu lock. And this will lock that 3 dot button. And open up menu lock, enable the menu lock here, set a password. And so every time we press those 3 dots, we'll have to enter a password to be able to get into the settings. So this is a good one to use if the student is trying to navigate in those settings and making changes that aren't useful. Now, most students who use an iPad will be really familiar with these home buttons to get out of communication software or to get out of apps on their iPad. So it's a good idea to hide these icons for students who are really keen to do that, and if that's impacting them using the Rugged as a communication device. So the way that we hide these buttons is in a feature called kiosk mode. So we'll go into our 3 dots in the menu, then in application settings, then the kiosk mode is under system, And here we have our kiosk mode feature. And I'll turn the kiosk mode on. Now you'll see along the bottom, my square and circle are gone, don't exist anymore. So that means we're in here in LAMP and we're using LAMP and we can't navigate out of LAMP into the Android environment. So for lots of students, this will be a necessary feature, especially at the start, because kids love that exit button, especially if they're using an older iPad, and they will know I can press this and get out of the communication software. So I recommend using those menu lock and kiosk mode features if the student is navigating out and it's not helping their use of the communication software. Just wanted to do a bit of a quick introduction to the layout of the LAMP Words for Life vocab here, because that will help us later when we're adding some words in. Over on the left here, you can see we've got some yellow icons, and these are all our pronouns. And they're put on the left because this is often where we start a sentence in English, on the left-hand side, and then we start to move across. The green buttons in here, in the middle here, are our really high frequency words that we use in pretty much every sentence that we speak. So they put them right in the middle here in LAMP and made them easily accessible. Around the main screen here, you can see most of the words are core words, really commonly said words, and often the first words that kids start to use when they start to talk. And so they've been put on this front page of LAMP so they're easily accessible because they're the words that we use the most. There are some category-based icons where things are grouped together, and they are above our green icons here. So we have all of our question words are under the what button here with the question mark, and I can ask a question.
What?
Next to that, we've got our bridge for in, and all of our prepositions will be under here. So I can use a preposition. Got our train for and here, which is our conjunctions. And this is for joining words together into a sentence.
And.
Next to that, we've got our wizard, which is our determiners like this and that. Really common words used by children as their language is developing.
This.
Next to that, we've got our fireworks for our interjections and social words. And this is where a lot of our fun words are.
Awesome.
And then the way that words are categorized in LAMP predominantly is through a feature called semantic compaction. And what that means is basically every word underneath a button will relate to the picture on the front of the icon there. So for example, if we look at eat here, it has an apple and the letter A. Every word underneath this button will have some semantic relation to the apple or the letter A. So if I click on our eat apple, you can see everything under here relates to the apple or starts with the letter A. When I click on my icon from the front, the main verb relating to that icon will always be in the same position here, eat. So the main verb for the apple will be eat. Next to that, we've got all our verb conjugations relating to the main verb, eats, eating, ate, eaten, to eat. And I really like that feature in LAMP because we don't just say eat as our language develops. We want to say eats, eating, ate, all of our different past tense, present tense, future tense. Coming across, we hit our blue adjectives. And so the main adjective for an apple is feeling hungry. Above that, we've got our orange noun categories relating to the apple, which is food. We've got some blue icons that are in capitals here, and that means that it will be a folder of nouns. And then we've got our green buttons with capitals, which will be a folder of verbs. Then we have some words starting with A. So you can see every button underneath there related to the apple or the letter A, and that's called semantic compaction. Another example there is over here for sleep with our bed and a room. Everything under this sleep button will relate to that bed or the room. So if I click on sleep, we've got our main verb in the main verb position, sleep. Next to that, we've got our verb conjugations of sleep, sleeps, sleeping, slept. Moving across to our blue adjective relating to the bed, which is feeling tired. Our noun category in orange relating to the bed, which is furniture. We've got some green capital icons here, which means it's going to be a verb folder, and then some scattered nouns around the screen. So all of the icons are arranged like that with semantic compaction. And it's just a bit of a different way of organizing language rather than having many, many folders that you have to navigate through. Words are grouped together relating to their semantic meanings. Obviously in LAMP, there's a lot of icons there. We've got 84 on the front and 3,000 to 4,000 underneath. Lots of words. And even after using LAMP for many years, I still don't remember where all the words are. And I need a way to search for words every single day. So LAMP has a feature called the Word Finder, and I use this every day when I'm doing therapy. So there's two word finders in the Liberator Rugged devices. The first one is under our spelling and numbers icon. Click on that, and it's up the top here in purple. So for this word finder, we first type the word and then press the word finder button. So I'm thinking maybe I need to eat some pizza tonight because it's Friday. So I can type the word pizza and then press the word finder button. Up the top right here, it will show me which buttons to press to get to pizza. So I want to press the eat, then Italian, then pizza. There's a second word finder in the Rugged, which is in the menu button. So if I press my three dots down here for the menu, we've got another word finder. And I can type the word pizza. And it will show me which buttons to press to get to the word pizza. And then the word finder in the menu button here has an extra feature, which is really handy for developing your motor plan to learn where this word pizza is. So it's over here on the right and it's called Guide Me. It will hide all the other buttons and just show the buttons I need to press in my sequence to get to pizza.
Pizza, pizza.
Very handy for learning where the word is and which button to press and developing your motor plans. Another great feature in LAMP specifically is the vocabulary builder. As you can see on the screen, 84 icons, many thousands of words. Sometimes this will be a bit overwhelming for the student or overwhelming for the family or teacher or speech therapist. And we might want to hide some pictures and just choose a target set of vocabulary that we can work on with our student. And LAMP has a really good way of doing that called the vocabulary builder. So to get to the vocabulary builder on the Rugged, click our three dots for the menu, click on vocabulary builder. We need to create a new one. You can name it after your student. And then I'll just type in the words that I want to make available to my student. So let's just choose 5 common words that we might use in therapy. So I'll type go, and then I click the green checkbox for each word. And I'm going to use more, and click the green checkbox. Let's give a way to protest by saying stop. And then talking about pizza, I think we need to put eat. Click the green checkbox, and then maybe with the pizza I'll need a drink. Click the checkbox. So now I've added those 5 words. I can click our green tick here to show that I'm finished. Press save to save my 5 words. Then it will ask me, do I want to move to my 5 words now and hide all the other words? And I can hit yes. You can see here my vocabulary set is now on. And we just have those 5 words to target in therapy. So really brilliant feature to help the student, to help the communication partners, to develop language and find specific icons. I recommend not limiting your student too much though. Kids will know many more words than we give them credit for, so it's better to have too many words rather than not enough. And then if you have the vocabulary builder on, every time you think of a word that may be useful for the student, make sure you add it in so they're not stuck on a small set of words. I also like to turn the vocabulary builder off at some point in every single session to allow the child to explore or to make a mistake and maybe learn some new language. And so to turn it on and off, we go into our 3 buttons for the menu, vocabulary builder, click on Morgan, and I can turn it off by hitting disable, or I can edit it to put more words in there. So if I disable and turn it off, all my words are back. It's very easy to toggle the vocabulary builder on and off. And I highly recommend don't get stuck on a small set of words with a student for too long, because they'll become bored with it and not be able to communicate everything that they want to. Under each icon in LAMP here, there will be some blank icons. And these are put there so that you can add pictures or words that are really important for your student. There's lots of words in LAMP already, so I recommend don't go overboard with adding every single word that relates to your child or student, because they can use these common words more so. But there will be really important things that your student wants to communicate. So it's good to have the ability to create a button. And things that people like to add are, specific foods and drinks, cultural foods, pictures of family members, specific activities or places that are not in LAMP already. So if we want to add a new word or new icon into LAMP, it's a good idea first to search to make sure that word is not already in there, because we only want each word in LAMP one time, so that there's just one specific mode of movement for each word. So if we wanted to add just a picture of Morgan, because I know Morgan is not going to be in there. And then to think about where to add the word, again, we rely on that semantic compaction, putting words in a category that relates to the picture on the front. So for family members or people that we know, some people put it under this all icon where it has a picture of the family, and then some words under here relating to family, parents, brothers and sisters. So this is a common place people will add pictures of specific people. Other people might put it under the me, the my, or mine areas. But let's add an icon of Morgan under this family one. So first I want to go in and find a blank space where I can add a picture. And then to add icons, we need to use the edit mode in the settings. So to get to edit mode, click on our menu buttons up the top turn the edit mode on. Now I'm in the editing mode. To create a button, I just hold down on one of these blank icons and a menu will pop up. So I want to create a button. And here I just need to add some information to create my button. So the label is what's going to be written on my icon. I've got Morgan. Leave the rest of that. And then if I scroll down, the message is what the button is going to say. So it's already added it for me, Morgan. If I scroll down further, I can get to an image. So the device will have a big bank of pictures in there, and I could search for pictures through Find, but I know it's not going to have a picture of Morgan. So in this case, we would take a photo through the camera. So if I click on the camera, turn it around towards me, there's a bit of my head. I can take a photo. Oh, great photo, so we'll keep that. I'll give it a name for Morgan. So I've added a label, a message, a photo for Morgan, and then our icon is ready to go.
Morgan.
So quick and easy to add icons. You can use images from the big bank of images in the device, or you can take photos if it's something very specific. But again, I recommend don't go too overboard in adding absolutely everything that relates to the student. In terms of the word Morgan, we won't actually say that word too often during the day. We might say words like friend, teacher, person much more often than the specific word of Morgan. So that's how to add one button. Another important skill you might want to think about is adding in a verb. And so we'll see in LAMP here that our verbs have the main verb, but then also all the verb conjugations. And we think that's really important for language development because we don't want to just teach the main verb. We want to allow the student to be able to say all the different tenses and verb conjugations and morphology of that verb. So we recommend whenever you're adding a verb, make sure you add all the verb conjugations as well. So this one's a little bit tricky in the Liberator Rugged. We've got videos for how to do it, but this is probably the most difficult setting in the device. So let's give it a go now. When the editing mode is on, you can see down the bottom here, it tells you what the page is called. So down the bottom here, it says LAMP 84, and this page here is called Home. If I click on the love icon here, it tells me that this page is called Love. If I click on the hug button, it tells me that this page is called Love and Family. And that's the naming convention here in LAMP. So the reason that final page was called Love and Family is because to get to that page, we press first the love icon, that spot, and then the second spot where hug is in the family spot. So it's pressing love, then family. Gets me to this hug page. The naming conventions aren't important, but it may help you when you're creating new folders and new verbs. So I want to create a verb folder around the word cuddle. So I know cuddle is not in here, and it's a word that my student might use. So let's add it in. So I'm going to put cuddle under this love icon because we have other similar words under there, and it relates to that first picture there. I want to have cuddle, cuddles, cuddling, cuddled, and to cuddle. And I like this page for hug, so I'm going to duplicate and copy this page as a starting point because it already has the coloring for the verbs and it already has the verb conjugations. So to make a copy of this page, I look at what it's named. So it's called Love and Family. With my editing mode on, I'll click on my menu button there with 3 dots and then go into Pages. And then I'm going to scroll down till I find that page that we're on, which is called Love Family. There it is. I'll press on my Love Family and I'm going to duplicate that page. Now I'm going to call this new page Love Do, and I'll tell you why I've called it that in a minute. So now we're in this new page that I've made called Love and Do. The reason I called it Love Do is because I want to create it in this spot here, which would be pressing Love and then pressing Do. That's the combination. So I want to stick to the naming convention. You don't have to stick to this naming convention. You could just call the page Cuddle and that would be fine. But I'm going to give you the purest explanation here. So I want to create my Cuddle page to be here, which will be Love, then Do. So I'm just going to open my Love Do page again and I'll show you how we can modify it to make it Cuddle. So Love Do here, I'm going to open my Love Do page. And so this is our new page that we want to create our Cuddle icons on. And I've just used the template of Hug because it has the right coloring and the right verb conjugations that I want to use. And so we can edit all these buttons to have Cuddle and our Cuddle verb conjugations. So to edit the button, I hold down the one that I want to edit, hit Edit button. Now we're in our editing page. So I'm going to change my label to Cuddle. Scroll down, I want my message to be Cuddle. And then I want to get an image for Cuddle. Now I think the device will have a good image for Cuddle in its bank of pictures. And so this time I can click Find and search for any pictures it has for Cuddle. So let's choose this Cuddle board maker picture. So I'll put in my label of what the button is going to read, my message for what the button will say, and then my picture of Cuddle. And I can save that. And then I would go along and change all the rest of these to be Cuddles, Cuddling, Cuddled, and to Cuddle. So now we've created our page called Cuddling, and we just need to make it appear where we want to make it appear in LAMP. So I said before, I wanted to put it in the position of Love and Do. So I'm going to click Love, and then this is the Do position here where I want to put it. Again, we're going to copy another icon here and paste it across because it already has the coloring, it's already got the capitals. That just makes it quicker and easier. So I'm going to copy this Hug button here. So I'll hold down on Hug. I can copy button. And then in our Love Do position here, I can paste. And then I want to edit this one to say Cuddle. So I'm going to put in capitals because it's going to be a folder, a verb folder for Cuddles. And then I want to change the picture to be Cuddle as well. And then last step we need to do is just in our actions here, we want to make it jump to our page called Love Do. So at the moment it's jumping to Love Family, which is our Hug icon. And I want it to jump to Love Do, which will be Cuddle. So I just hold down on this jump to page and hit set. Then I'm going to choose a page for it to jump to. We want that to be the page that we created, love do. I'll scroll down. Then we've got love do, and we can see under here, it's got the preview. It's got our cuddle page that I created. Okay. Save. And let's test it out. So back on our main screen, love, cuddle, cuddle.
Cuddle.
It's a fairly long process in the Liberator Rugged, but that's how you create a verb folder. And we recommend each time you add a new verb, do it that way so we've got our verb conjugations to help with language development. Now, there are videos for how to do that on our YouTube page, and then you'll have the video recording of this as well, because it's quite a lot of steps. So I've finished editing now, so I'm going to go in the menu and turn that edit mode off so I can go about talking again. One really cool feature in LAMP across all the devices is the ability to data log or record all the presses that are pressed. Really helpful for long-term data around what words does your student say and what words are they not saying. It's also really helpful in the trial period where you're then going to apply for funding. It's great to show the NDIS, these are the words the student said, this is when they were using the device. And so each of the devices using LAMP have an electronic data logging feature that we can turn on and off if we have consent from the family and the student. So to turn the data logging on, go in the menu, in the settings, scroll down to the bottom, we have data logging. And then we can turn the data logging on, and it will now record each word that is pressed on the device. And we can then take that data off onto a USB through save data to file, or we can upload it via Wi-Fi to our Realize Language account if we have one. If you haven't used Realize Language, highly recommend checking it out. I'll send around a link to that website afterwards, but it's just a great way to analyze the use of device and really helpful for getting funding for communication devices. Obviously, if we're creating new icons in our student's device, like Morgan and Cuddle, we want to make a copy or a backup of this vocabulary in case the device gets thrown in the pool or smashed or can't be fixed. In that case, if we don't have a backup, we've lost all that work that we've done. So it's a really good idea to regularly back up your student's device. There's a couple of ways to do it. Again, we've got videos on our YouTube page, but I'll just run through a couple of ways to do it. The first way is by plugging the device into your computer. So I'm going to plug this Rugged into my computer now, just using the charging cord. And you'll see now the device is now in transfer mode, which means it's connected to your computer. And then I'm just going to jump across to the chat editor software. So on my laptop, I have this chat editor software, which has LAMP Words for Life, and this can talk to the Liberator Rugged. It's the same software that's on the Liberator Rugged. And I can use this to save and back up a vocab from the device onto the computer. So I'll just hide this panel at the top here. So you can see here up at the top, it says device is connected. That means my computer is recognizing the Rugged. And then under the library at the top, I can transfer to or from the device. So I could do some personalization in the chat editor software on my computer and move it to the device, or I can back up my students' vocab from the device to my computer. So if their device breaks or gets wet or can't be used anymore, we have a permanent save of that vocab. And so you can see here we can move the vocabs back and forth between the device and the computer. I'll put out a link for this chat editor software if anyone doesn't have that as well. Just unplug from the computer.
Welcome to Norvik Chat.
The other way to save the vocab is to save it onto a USB. And so to do that, we need to head back out into the library. If we hit our menu button for the three dots and go to library, we're back out in the library here, and we can find our vocab, which was LAMP 84 full copy. Up the top here, we have another menu button with three dots again. If I hit that one, I can import, export, and that will allow me to move my personalized LAMP vocabulary off the device onto a USB through a cord. So I highly recommend doing either of those backup options regularly so that you don't lose any personalization that you've done. The device, it is a tablet, and just like our phones or iPads, it's good to update the software. If the software starts to get behind where the current version is up to, you can start to get some bugs in there where the software won't work as well as it should. So we recommend regularly update the software. So to do that in the Rugged, go into the menu, and then it's in Help. Down the bottom here, we can check for updates, and this will tell me whether there's a new software version that I can update to. There is a menu here in the software update section where I can turn on settings to make it automatically update the software if I want. To update the software, we need to have Wi-Fi on, and so we can allow the Wi-Fi download checkbox here. And if you want the device to automatically update software, you can click Auto Install here. But highly recommend learning how to update the software, because generally, if things aren't working too well on the device, it could be because the software has fallen behind. Brilliant. Well, I might stop the recording there and we can get into some questions.